Thank you guys for being here today. Appreciate y'all so much, and Cabana Club for hosting, and John for throwing this down. Everybody is doing this obviously in partners. Mine unfortunately could not be here today, so I will be trying to manifest her love and energy from 5 miles away. Today, and I'm going to continuously be saying we because that's what this was. This wasn't just me. Today we are presenting to you, my name is Jonah, her name is Eden, and this cocktail is going to be the Garden of Eden. This cocktail is a spring and summer forward cocktail built around Waterloo's prickly pear and rosé gin. With this gin, it's naturally got those botanicals and that citrus forward with that soft, soft floral on the nose. So we built a cocktail that's going to support that and bring out those characteristics rather than mask them. The structure of this cocktail was to kind of try and layer the botanicals in the drink. Botanicals, tea, light sweetness, and didn't want to make anything that was going to be too heavy. The tea obviously adds a beautiful color and the aroma to it. For us, this cocktail had a lot to do with the fact that her and I are both sober. We're pushing a year right now sober. And this taste test to get down to this was pushing it a little bit. But yeah, we're both sober, and coming into that, tea has been kind of my and her escape away from alcohol, and obviously kicking into coffee was a good for a little bit right after we got off, but switching over to tea was something big for us. So incorporating the tea into the cocktail was kind of a big thing for us, because not only with this cocktail is it going to be obviously alcoholic and built for a menu, but it was also built to take away the liquor, strip that away, and still have a mocktail that is presentable to be enjoyed by the drinker. So yeah, with that being said, this drink reflects how people in Austin are drinking today. And with that being said, it's experience-driven, intentional, and inclusive drinkers. It's not only light enough to enjoy more than one, which is imperative for a bar menu, but on top of that, as I was saying, it does go ahead and integrate backwards into a mocktail. So whether you're there with someone who's younger, someone who's sober like us, you can have the same kind of cocktail with your friends and still get the same experience. So I invite you guys to smell the cocktail first. With that being said, this is the last little bit for the drink. This is rose water that has been infused with prickly pear hibiscus tea, as well as, or that's what it is. It's the rose water and the prickly pear hibiscus tea combined together. So I invite you to take a little whiff first, bring it to your nose. This cocktail, you may not see her now, but this cocktail is a lot like Eden. It's captivating in appearance, gentle on the nose, and very well balanced in structure. So I invite you guys to take a sip and enjoy.
Let's say it is stirred and shaken and then combined, correct? I wanted to know what your thought process was behind that. I know sometimes shaking versus stirring has many factors. Why? I'm just interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So with that, obviously two beautiful colors, the butterfly PT and then this beautiful rosé color for the gin. We didn't want to take away from this by adding another color that was going to take it over. So initially we were trying to do something with cucumber, and although it was delicious, it didn't look delicious. So we went ahead and strayed away from that with what we could do layering-wise. And so we couldn't get it to be a perfect layer, like a float on top, but it was enough to start at the top, and then it kind of just seeps through without taking away from the color too much, but also adding a slightly different flavor profile to it. So that was the whole goal with that, was shaking the main ingredients, getting the gin slightly diluted to where it wasn't so harsh, but you could still obviously taste everything, the hibiscus, the prickly pear, and all that in it. And then mix it on top with the citrus and the butterfly pea. When mixed together, it kind of changes the color of that tea. And then it helps with just the visual presentation. But again, that initial hit off the nose, because it is on top of the cocktail. As listed there, all the main ingredients are shaken, other than the acid or the lemon juice, and then the blue tea. So that is going to be stirred to reduce the dilution that we already did in the previous step, but to still be able to have that color on top. If you do shake it too much or you do stir it too long, it will completely start to change away from that blue and take that out. So just a gentle little stir to be able to mix it together, but still be able to get it on top as well.
How are you going to use the dehydrated rose petals that you...
That is a very, very good observation. I Ubered here and they rolled out in the back of the vehicle. So it was supposed to have the imitation of espresso beans, health, wealth, and good fortune, but they were going to be the rose petals on top. Good catch, though.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That would have helped add to the aroma as well as even some of the flavor, right? I think that's a good way to show how that garnish would have actually, I think, positively affected the cocktail and actually like brought out more of those flavors. But I get things happen. Still really wonderful. I loved what you said about like being intentional and inclusive. I thought that was awesome. I think that's kind of what a lot of the themes are about in this, you know, wellness, intentional, and inclusivity. So I also loved what you did. You know, you kind of brought us into, you know, kind of like what they did with the droppers earlier, but I loved when you came up later, gave us a little, it says it in here, but you kind of gave us a little surprise. So, you know, makes you feel a little special as well as a guest. The guests would love that as well.
And that's the whole goal, is to make the guest have as many of those little moments as possible throughout the entire cocktail. So just when you think it's over, there's a little bit more. We did, back to the rose petals, we did try and sprinkle a bunch on. It didn't work. But using those three looked good and emphasized that rose water, and then also being able to imitate the espresso beans with the health, wealth, and good fortune.
Jonah, been with the SpeedRailz community since we launched this, and now you've been out here in Austin. You're a DJ now. You're working in a club. How are you coming up with drinks like this? Because you come from a corporate bartending background where they didn't give us that much leeway to create these things. How did you go about sourcing the ideas to even come up with something like this?
I would say I was blessed enough working at ABBA to have two guys in there that really know their stuff about all of this, and just learning from them over the past few years and taking things that I did like, writing them down, and moving from there, from clarifying to fat washing and just integrating crazy things you wouldn't think work that do. So that's I kind of owe a lot of that to them. But honestly, most of this cocktail was developed by Eden, who has nowhere near that time in that style of industry. Great bartender, but she'll say it herself, the lack of, as in her interview, the lack of experience. She was worried how that would play out, but she's the one that really, really pieced this together. And yeah, I wish she was here to answer more of that. But some of the stuff I was like, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
And just like everybody, you have to curate an event. We want to showcase this cocktail so that way we can get it into consumers' hands and let them rate this on Disgo. What are some of your ideas with the event that you're planning, since, you guys are kind of already in this lane anyway?
So we're trying to go ahead and do, with our event, everyone knows, if you're friends with us at least, that we're sober. So the event is obviously going to be inclusive to both parties. So when we have this on the menu, we're also going to have the specs and everything for the mocktail version. So if you've drank too much and you came in at 1:30 a.m. and you just want a little something to cheers with your friends to, but you like the color of this cocktail and you don't know what to get the same one with no alcohol, and be included in that time.
Okay. Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Jonah. Amazing cocktail. Go ahead, say it. I want to taste that later.
So for those who don't know you, who are you and where do you work?
My name is Jonah. I work at Totes, as well as at this concept called Flair downtown. And I also do private bartending gigs, DJ events, weddings, and throw my own events at Totes as well, DJing. So
Sounds like a jack of all trades. If you could describe your venue in one sentence, what would that be?
Totes is a bass EDM style club, similar to Concourse, but it is much smaller, intimate, and meant for local Austin artists. And then Eden also she's the manager there. So Eden's the general manager over there, and she has really, in only 2 or 3 months, completely swapped up a lot of the aesthetics of the venue and the feel of the place, and it's going in a really good direction. I wish she was here to speak on that, but it's going places. We're excited to see what happens.
That's amazing. We do miss her today, but going off of that, tell me a little bit about your cocktail and how she, even though she wasn't here, was presented in that with you today.
So yesterday, our time kind of got cut short, and we hadn't named the cocktail yet, but everything else was pretty much figured out. And as I'm about to submit this cocktail a minute before it is due, right on 11:59 dot, classic college move, I came up with the idea of just Garden of Eden. The gin itself is botanicals and floral, and we use tea, which obviously is very similar in that way. and I thought it just made a lot of sense. And so yeah, it's a tea-based cocktail with the Waterloo prickly pear and rosé gin, and we garnish it with lemon, dehydrated rose petals, and some rose water that was also infused with that prickly pear tea that we used in the cocktail.
That's amazing. I also did get a chance to take a little sip of that, and it is awesome. So we definitely love that, and I'm super excited to see how y'all curate this over the next 8 weeks. Do you want to tell me a little bit about how you're planning on bringing this cocktail to life for your guests over this time leading up to your event?
We're going to be doing a lot of advertising just in general for the venue, and just shows coming up, my shows, and creating content for the page. And I think that being able to just kind of slip in SpeedRailz and slip in this cocktail, like hinting at it or showing it, whatever it may be, by the time that we throw our event in February, that it will be kind of full circle. People will be prepared for it. They know what to expect. But the big thing for our cocktail is that if you remove the alcohol and slightly switch up the ratios with more tea, it's a mocktail. And so we're excited to be able to introduce that to anyone who drinks, doesn't drink, but wants to go out and be included, and just have both those options. That's a big thing for our event that we'll be throwing.
You are a veteran to SpeedRailz. If, in fact, you introduced me to John and this whole concept, which I'm so grateful for. How and what is the most exciting thing that you have seen with the growth of this entire concept since you've started?
The fact that when I first reached out to John, he was like, hey, like we're kind of small right now. We're just starting. We're not doing anything outside of Houston. And then like 2 months later, hit me back in the same DM and was like, hey, by the way, we're accepting outside cities into our competition. And like that was crazy for me. So knowing from the start that it was, kind of secluded, to now seeing how it's like San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, and like wanting to expand to New York and just across the nation. That on its own has just been mesmerizing to me, and like I expect nothing less out of the hustle of John to see that, but it's just so nice to see and to feel and be a part of. And I know you've been wanting to do like the sports documentation, and so getting to see you in these kind of things and knowing that that's what you're kind of been working towards and doing, it's all just so full circle beautiful, and I could literally cry right now.
Oh, wait, I want to hug you. Oh, I'm so happy. That's so sweet. I am so glad to see you doing this right now. What do you plan on, or how do you want to continue to grow using SpeedRailz, just personally through everything?
I mean, creating better content, honestly, like coming to these events, like there's no reason that your phone's not out. You don't have those Ray-Ban Metas on if you have them. Like there's no reason you're not collecting that kind of content. And I think that utilizing how network-based that this is, that creating that content or like networking with those people to be like, hey, let's make a quick video right now. Let's do a quick skit. Like there's no reason to not be doing that other than we're just not. And so I think that that's something I want to utilize a little bit better of this network that John has built is definitely networking a little bit more and capturing better content with people.
Oh my gosh, and y'all already capture so much awesome content, so I'm super excited to continue to see all of that and to see how this helps you just continue to grow.
I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I miss you too. Oh, this is great.